Hi there, welcome to this brief demonstration of some of the main features that ITM Platform offers. As you can see here, we've got the 4 default access levels for ITM Platform, and today I'll just be jumping into the full access license. The first thing the user will come to is the home screen of ITM Platform. So as you can see on the left here, we have the navigation panel. So this is where the user can navigate to any page within ITM Platform. Then you have the personal board. So this just mimics the Agile Kanban board. So all users will be able to see their tasks and their projects that they've been assigned to. And they can also make changes in this Kanban board, changing project statuses. And on the right, we have the social collaboration panel. So this is where users can communicate with one another about particular items, about different tasks. And they can also narrow down particular communications by project. So today I'm just going to show you some of the main functionality. So for example, we have the timesheet. So this is where the users can come and report their hours for their particular tasks. As you can see, we have a project here with a couple of tasks, and the user can enter their hours here and repeat particular time entries for an entire period. But I mainly want to stick to the management features, and for example, the portfolio. So the portfolio will just give the user an overview of all the projects, programs, and services that the company is working on within the ITM Platform environment. And so it'll give you a list view with a whole host of parameters, such as the status of the project, what type it is, what the assessment of the project is, how it's progressing, and the percentage completed as well. So give the portfolio manager a sort of overview of how everything is doing. They can also get a financial analysis overview, so just to check how your projects and services are doing in terms of costings. So you can see the budget, purchases and workforce budgets, as well as any incomings to any of the projects and services that are operational. You can also see in the schedule the Gantt chart, so how each of your projects and services are doing in terms of the timeline. So you can also see if there are any dependencies between particular projects and services along here on the right. And finally, you also have a dashboard. So this will just give you a whole host of KPIs and performance indicators for your portfolio. So you can actually see how visually how your portfolio is doing. I also want to quickly show you another major functionality of ITM Platform in the programs area. So essentially, programs are just groups of projects that are grouped together by the same business goal or business criteria. And so, as you can see, when we first come into programs, we get our program list and a couple of parameters of each of the programs. So I'll just jump into Growth Projects program. And intuitively, you would assume this is the program to do with growing the business. And so it'll take you to the General tab first, and this is where you can define your program, set some parameters such as the type, status, start and end dates, etc. And then you've got other tabs such as your business goals that are linked to this program, your budget, your particular components, your projects that make up this program. But quite a nice feature that I'll demonstrate now is the strategic alignment feature. So this is where you can actually make scenarios and prioritize different business goals and projects by one another to see which is bringing the most value to your particular program. So there's a few different ways to do it. There's business goal prioritization, component prioritization, and component selection. And so I'll just quickly show you the business goal prioritization. And there's a few different ways to do it depending on the methodology, the preferred methodology you are using. So I'll just go into pairwise comparison. So here you can make some comparisons between your business goals for this program, and you can do it using the pairwise comparison method, the AHP methodology, and you can simply compare and prioritize like so. And you'll notice there's also a consistency ratio just to make sure that you're being consistent with your prioritizations. Similarly, you can do this with your components, but then you've also got component selection, which is quite a nice feature of ITM Platform. So this allows you to visually see how your project selection within your program, whether or not it's being efficient. So for example, we've got a efficient frontier diagram here. So you can see our position with our current selection is not very efficient. So if we make a couple of changes, for example, taking out some of the higher cost and lesser value projects and putting in some of the cheaper ones, and then simply updating the charts with our new selection, we can see that we're being much more efficient now with our choices. So our current project selection is actually on the efficient frontier line, and we can just have some graphics to illustrate how efficient your choice is. And so that's quite a nice functionality of ITM Platform. Another functionality I wanted to show you is the resources area. So the resources area will give you an idea of how your projects and services are doing in terms of the demanded time and the allocation. So this is more for planning of your projects and services. And then you also have a view which shows you your capacity of each of your resources. So you can actually see by each professional category and by each particular user. And so you can actually drill down all the way into the tasks that each user is doing, what their capacity is, if they have availability, or if they're actually over capacity as well. So it's quite a powerful and quite easy to use resources management area. We've also got the projects area, which I'll quickly go over just to give you a sort of feel for the project section of ITM Platform. So first of all, you'll get your project list, similarly to what we saw in the programs. So it'll give you some parameters like type, status, how it's doing in terms of percentage completed. So if I just jump into new product line, so first of all, you'll be taken to the general tab. So this is obviously where you define your project. You set its parameters, you set a start and end date. So you can actually link it to business plans that you've created, or maybe set a relationship for with a particular client. You can also see dependencies on the bottom as well. And then you've got a whole host of different tabs here. So you can manage your team. We've got the budget. We've got the Gantt chart. So if I click onto the Gantt chart, just to give you a look at what ITM Platform's Gantt chart looks like. So we've got a couple of functionality on the Gantt chart. So obviously we've got our tasks on the left and the Gantt on the right. And you can actually create dependencies by simply dragging and dropping between particular tasks. You can also import from MS Project. So this is quite a nice feature. You can, if you're already working on a project on MS Project and you don't want to have to start it again with an ITM Platform, you can simply upload the MS Project file and it'll automatically map into ITM Platform, so you can start working on it from here. And then we've also got a whole host of other tabs, such as the tasks, where you can actually manage individual tasks and just in more detail in the tasks area. We have the purchases and revenue. We've got risk management, progress, where the project manager can actually make progress reports, and the documents section if you want to attach particular documents. And we finally have the dashboard. So like we saw earlier, this will just provide you with some performance indicators for this particular project, taking the data just inputted into this project. And so we can see here, just we have some KPIs here, which you can select which ones you'd like to view as well. So those are just the main features. Obviously, we've got a lot of different features within ITM Platform. It's a fully featured solution, but those are just some of the main features to give you a brief overview. If you want a more in-depth demonstration, please feel free to send me an email or request a demo directly through our website. Thank you very much for listening.